In the headlines, a woman has taken the Bird Box Challenge.
She must get off the bus with her guide dog because guide dogs can't be black. Is that not baffling?
Of course, I'm the one sitting here with a 55-inch TV hanging on the wall as a totally blind person, so, you know.
You leave it out all the time?
I do. I don't even have the decency to fold it up.
I guess here at That Blind Tech Show, we are guilty of spreading fake news.
Check out David Woodbridge's demonstrations on Narrator. Good stuff.
Windows Narrator, Allison.
I have definitely played with it some, and I am liking that it is feeling like an actual screen reader that you can actually use to do things.
Things.
This part of the show gets a little scary with some news of some privacy things that are going on.
Well, I think we should pause for 7 hours right now while everyone reads that thing.
Things.
Terms and conditions that you agree to every time you open these apps.
I say hold steady, stay strong, and see what happens, because life always gets better.
I want that on a t-shirt.
You want to throw in a fight the good fight there? That's
Fight the good fight. Jeff, I keep answering for you this whole podcast. I am sorry. I keep doing that.
It's all right.
I need to stop doing that.
I'm married. I know the feeling.
You're already used to a woman answering for you. All right.
I could go to Disney for $1.99 or whatever they say. I have no idea what they say.
$1.99. Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah, well, it's just a mouse and a duck. Yeah. I mean, you can go see a mouse or a duck anywhere, right?
That's true.
Exactly. Not a dog. I've got one right here. You know?
I'm so proud of you guys. What episode is this, Jeff?
We've embraced our inner pissed off people.
We've now turned the segment from what's pissing off Brian into what's pissing off the entire That Blind Tech Show team.
Everybody.
You noticed, Jeff, that I left that whole TiVo thing out of the show notes.
I don't even mention it. I already edited it out anyways.
3.
I put a filter, a TiVo filter.
2, 1. Welcome back to yet another That Blind Tech Show. Yes, again, it's been a while. We seem to be doing that a lot lately. How have you been, Allison?
I've been great. How about you guys?
Jeff? Mr. Thompson?
I've been great, but you got to remember, it's been the holidays and, festive.
It's true.
And, there's life,
too.
too.
Yeah.
I'm more a January person because that's when all the comedy club holiday parties are, and now that we've gotten past that season, and there was some adult beverage taking.
You having adult beverages, Ryan Fischler? I don't think so.
Never.
But not on this show.
Not on this show. No, not while recording.
Maybe you should start.
Yeah, maybe we'd be funny.
2019, a new leaf.
A new goal. For a change, we're going to start off with what's pissing off Brian, because there's a lot that's been pissing me off. This one thing in particular, which is all over the place, the Bird Box Challenge. It's really pissing me off.
Oh, that's pissing me off, too. It's just so stupid.
Uh-oh.
Why do you think we're starting with it, Allison? What are your thoughts about the Bird Box Challenge, Allison?
I just think it's dumb. It's people who know nothing about any kind of safety, blindfolding themselves and doing dumb stuff. Doing dumb stuff.
You mean like driving a car with a blindfold on?
Yes! Oh my gosh!
In the headlines, a woman has taken the Bird Box Challenge. She drove her vehicle blindfolded and ended up in a serious accident. We go to her live at the emergency room of the hospital, whose staff did not want to be named because, and I quote, "we do not want to be associated with stupid." Hi, I'm here next to the lady that took the Bird Box Challenge. Miss Lady, yes? Why did you take the Bird Box Challenge? Well, I wanted to be just like Sandra Bullock, and I think that if she could navigate rapids blindfolded, then I am obligated to drive down this here street with my blindfold on. But ma'am, all of your bones are broken. Well, that's okay. At least I got the children safe from the monsters. There you have it. It would seem that the lady is actually quite insane.
I mean, it's just not even like, it's just idiocy. I don't even care about, oh, this is a representation of blind people, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that stuff. I care about people being that stupid. Like, oh,
and for those
goodness.
of you who want to know what the Bird Box Challenge, if you haven't noticed, the movie Bird Box came out, and if you blindfolded yourself, you didn't see the evil thing that would then make you kill yourself. So blindfolding yourself saved your life. And so people have been taking it upon themselves to do this challenge, put the blindfold on and try to do some type of task.
Because you won't inadvertently kill yourself doing that. You know,
I don't know what hurts me more, that the future Mrs. X. Fischler, Sandra B, was in this movie, and that hurts me, deep down. What I have a problem with this whole thing is, nowadays we live in such PC times that you can't even use certain words for different pronouns, otherwise you're politically incorrect. The way you discuss somebody actively using a wheelchair, you have to use certain words for. So what bothers me is I don't understand why blindness is the one thing where it seems it's completely socially acceptable to mock or mimic, and that's what really bothers me. It's just, you either got to be PC all the way or none of the way. There's no halfway in between.
I vote as a proponent of freedom. I vote for none of the way. PC is
I'll go there with you then, so I can
country.
start using the R word again.
I would just wish they would use an approved blindfold, not just any blindfold, not just a handkerchief.
That's true.
I want them to use an approved official sleep shade.
I found a way to make this socially acceptable.
Okay.
We know that the blindness unemployment rate is up to around 70%. So if you are going to do the Bird Box Challenge, you must hire a blind person to lead you around while doing it.
There you
that
go.
would be safer.
Yeah.
There we go. And it gets blind people
knows where they're
employed.
going, I mean,
or a sighted person could put on blindfolds and go into a job interview and really get the flavor of what that's like.
Yeah. Well, how are you going to do this? So, anyhow, the Bird Box Challenge, it doesn't seem to be going away. Ugh, that's just terrible. Just absolutely terrible. But I love in January when we get things out of the way that we get cross off, for the rest of the year. And this next story, I would have to put as we already have the dumbest person of the year for 2019. A story that happened here, and it's great to see that not all the dumb people reside in the United States, contrary to popular belief. Because in Liverpool, England, Allison, a blind woman was on a bus with her guide dog, like all of us have been several times.
mm-hmm.
And a passenger, I believe, on the bus, I don't know if it was a passenger or the bus employee, it did not state that, told her that she must get off the bus with her guide dog because guide dogs can't be black. Is that not baffling in 2019?
Wow. I can't even begin to process why that's racist, first of all.
It's wrong on so many levels.
Obviously, this person never had a color TV.
Yeah. And here at That Blind Tech Show, we do not support any isms. Racism, sexism, Beatleism, Brianisms, no isms.
Brian, we're not being PC, remember? We don't have to have a disclosure statement.
Oh, we don't. Good thing. Okay, so scrap that last part. Our editor can take care of it if he chooses. But
Will do, Brian. I got you covered. Maybe if you buy me lunch once in a while.
if you haven't seen this story, look in the show notes. We don't want to go too far into it, but it's absolutely baffling. And to all the black labs out there that are listening, you are real guide dogs to us. So that's all you need to know.
We don't make this stuff up.
This next story was great because it's so my dad. A new study shows that people 65 and over share more fake news than any other age group. Is this a shocker to you, Allison, or is this just obvious?
I mean, the problem is, okay, and I'm gonna defend the senior citizens for a minute because it is
all of them?
All of them, yes.
Raise your canes.
It is really hard sometimes to know on the wild, wild west that is the internet if what you're clicking on is real or fake. These factories that promote these things and the bots that generate them and the AI and all that stuff, it is very good at generating realistic sounding fake stories. So I kind of really feel for the folks who get duped into sharing this stuff.
Do you see what Orson Welles started?
Yeah.
It was all his fault. There's actually a book about that. I'll try to get the link for the show notes. I have the Audible book.
In the senior citizens' defense, I do have a 40-year-old friend that's just as good as senior citizens at spreading fake news. So anytime he tells me something, I have to check it in 2 or 3 sources. And he's only 42, I think. So, I found this interesting, though. And I think it's just, because a large percentage of senior citizens are not very technological, that maybe 40 years ago, when people said things, it was just true. And nowadays, there's just, as you said, Allison, so many fake things out there. How about yourself, Jeff? Do you find that senior citizens spread more fake news than other age groups?
Well, I thought it was really neat that it wasn't race, wasn't sex, wasn't anything else. It was just age. And I get it too, because I've seen so many seniors want to get onto the bandwagon or get onto the iPhone or some technology. And it just sometimes doesn't register. So the ones that do get in, now they're subjected to fake news and where things have gone. There's no real police anymore or anything. So, of course, they're the ones that said, hey, I saw it on TV, so.
Yeah. Here at That Blind Tech Show, we don't spread any fake news unless, of course, we do.
Never. But you never know.
Yeah. We believe it to be true, and that's all that matters. If you believe it's true, it's not really a lie, to quote George Costanza.
But check the show notes.
Check the show notes, because if it's in the show notes, it's factually accurate.
It's true.
We have a team of senior citizen interns that read through all of our news to make sure that everything passes the smell right test.
Amazing what you can get done with a bag of toast and coffee.
Yeah, it is true. It is true. So if you want to be a senior citizen intern for That Blind Tech Show, you can email us in thatblindtechshow@gmail.com or just tweet us in. Make sure to include your resume and all personal financial information at Blind Tech Show. So that's how you can become an intern for us. It seems like the Apple rumor mill has officially jumped the shark because it's just so blasé these days. But Allison, would you be excited about the iPod Touch returning or 3 new iPhones in 2019, or can you care less about all of it?
I could care less because the way my life circumstances are right now, I'm not going to be able to really afford any new tech for a while. So I just, whatever. But of course, it's all about me. But no, seriously, I like the iPod Touches. I've got an iPod Touch. It's a little slow because it's from about 2 or 3 years ago at this point. I've liked them. I like that they're like little Victor Reader Stream replacement devices. 3 new iPhones. I mean, that should be enough for everybody and their size preferences. I don't know. More tech. It's all moving forward. It can never really be a bad thing.
Jeff, iPod Touch, is it only for senior citizens?
Well, I'm just shocked that an Apple product and money like that matters.
It doesn't matter if I can afford it or not. Don't be stupid.
Apple expensive?
Take a risk. Yeah.
First of all, I'm tired of Apple news, like what's coming. Some things that it's still not
Air
here,
power. Air power.
Yeah.
Air power.
The AirPods, the new ones. When they talk about this again, I thought it was going to be out last time, and now they talk about this year. Oh, well. I don't need one, so I'm not too worried about it, but you do like them.
I've never had the iPod Touch. The only thing I care about is my mini iPad 5. That's the only thing I want.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
that. Let's get that accurate. Now, Jeff, foldable phones or TVs, do you care at all?
Well, I did see the one that now goes down into it, disappears, rolls up, I guess. That was at CES, Consumer Electronics Show. And I was thinking, any of you ever said to someone that came over, I'm sorry, the TV's out, but we were watching it earlier. I mean, I don't get it. And foldable phones, I did like them.
Allison, disappearing TVs for the blind, or we could care less?
Really care less. Of course, I'm the one sitting here with a 55-inch TV hanging on the wall as a totally blind person, so,
You leave it out all the time?
I do. I don't even have the decency to fold it up. Put that thing away.
The one thing that all the articles agreed about the first foldable phone is that it was an utter piece of crap. They thought it was cool, but every review I read about it was just, not ready for prime time and everything. And
no.
I just wonder, I don't know if you remember that old Parquet commercial, like when you open the lid, it would go butter, and
butter.
That'd be kind of cool if you open
Parquet.
Well, what would the phone, you slide it awake. I don't know. It could say something cool and everything.
Android.
Android. Yeah, that'd be good. That's good. Put a patent on that. Get that patent in before they do. Android. So that'd be kind of cool. Honestly, I have man-sized pockets, so I don't need my phone to fold. I guess, for the ladylike pockets out there, this might be useful. So
I don't know. I see a fold gate
It really
coming on.
would be. Of course, a lot of lady pants don't even have pockets, so don't even get me started on lady pants.
Hey, Allison, you should purchase right now. Purchase #Foldgate.
#Foldgate. That's true. That's true. Allison, you might not have seen this yet because this came along real late to the outline, but I got really excited earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
PG, Brian. PG.
PG? Oh, yeah. I'm keeping it PG. I got real excited when Apple World Today released the blurb that for the blind people, you could now have all their articles read to you. And of course, I tweeted it out right away, spreading fake news because a short while after, a Mr. Jeff Thompson hit me up with an email. You know that Apple World Today site? Well, the thing that you have to press to read the articles isn't accessible to screen readers.
Ew.
I tried it on my iPhone while I was on the bus, and I tried it on the Mac at home. So Apple World, you missed the Apple accessibility.
Yes.
But if you're already okay, so I like to play devil's advocate. I like to take a controversial stance on these.
No. They said because a writer who is visually impaired wrote to us, we're doing this.
Yes. But what Allison, I think she was going to say, well, if you're using a screen reader, can't you just already read the article? This was going to be read in a nice voice, and it was just, I went and checked it on the Mac immediately, and yeah, so I guess here at that Blind Tech Show, we are guilty of spreading fake news because I did pass this article along, and it does not
Nice
work.
job, Grandpa. Nice job.
And I'm guilty of walking right over Allison. No, Allison.
Yeah, you did. Ow, I have some footprints on my back there, Jeff.
You get a walk all over Jeff free card.
This next thing, though, I think it's called DeStephanie, the Reddit client that this kid created. What's it? I can't even pronounce my own notes and everything. It's DeStephanie. Anyway, Jeff, you're going to have to find out a way to say this and put that in there.
Will do, Brian. I got you covered. Yeah, I got you covered. Maybe you got a better pop screen for your microphone, buddy.
I got real excited because I finally got into the beta. I really wanted to use Reddit. I like reading. I like commenting on people's stuff. And I had signed up for a Reddit account in 2011, but it was just awful with accessibility, so I hadn't used it for years. And Dystophia. There it is. Dystophia. You see, they spell things so weird nowadays.
Which is not DeStephanie at all, but okay.
No, but... Well, with VoiceOver as fast as I have it on my phone, it sounded like DeStephanie, and I know a couple cute
maybe you ought to turn down your
Stephanies.
voiceover, Mr. Fischler.
Yeah, I know a couple cute Stephanies.
Or learn Braille so you can sound these things out.
Yeah, learn Braille. So anyway, I got real excited. I got into the beta, and I've spent about 48 hours trying to sign up for a Reddit account. So if you're out there, I'd love to hear how anybody has successfully signed up for a Reddit account, because I've tried it on the iPhone, I've tried it on the Mac, I've tried it on Google Chrome, and every time I go to log in back with the app after it says I've created an account, I now have Blind Gator, Blind Gator 2, Blind Gator 3, Blind Gator 4, all on Reddit. Yet none of them, when I go to sign in through the app, seem to work. And I know blind people are using and testing this. So if anybody out there, this was a little disclaimer, please hit me up.
Maybe you ought to write to Dystophia Dude here and be like, hey, Dystophia Dude, what's going on?
I have written to him. He's very nice. Saul Hussein, I think his name is. And I've probably butchered that. He was great to get back to me. He said, yeah, I know. I've been trying to work with Reddit to get them to fix the accessibility.
Oh, it might be an API thing, yeah.
Yeah, but I know people have successfully signed up, and for some reason, I've just had the worst luck with this. And you can only try things for so long before you get frustrated and want to throw things out the window and everything. And luckily, I'm on the second floor, so they shouldn't break. It'll just be hard finding the iPhone, outside and everything. So, So Allison, we know you're living on the Windows side of things these days.
I am.
And
Yeah, nice transition. Throw it out the window. By the way.
Oh my goodness. Is this indicative of the kind of week I've had? I just got that now.
there's something wrong with the world today. I don't know what it is. Anyhow, I tried not to sing because after Jeff remixed me singing a song on the last episode, it was... I knew I was a bad singer, but when you hear yourself singing awful, you're like, okay, I've got to stop doing that. Every time I sing, we lose 5 listeners.
Everybody has gifts, and singing is not one of yours.
Yeah.
No. Windows Narrator, Allison. How much have you played around with it? What are your thoughts of where it is January 2019?
I have definitely played with it some, and I am liking that it is feeling like an actual screen reader that you can actually use in lieu of other screen readers to do things. That is...
Things.
That is where I am with that.
Jeff?
Yeah, it's great that Microsoft has taken the initiative to an enhanced narrator. That's their screen reader. And like Ed Plumacher said, who teaches the PC, that students do not leave without getting a taste of what narrator is all about. That way, right out of the box, they can actually activate the screen reader and use it to do some things.
Things.
As Allison said.
Things.
And a great resource for demonstrations on Narrator, the Windows screen reader. David Woodbridge has been creating these demonstrations. I believe he's up to number 10 right now. Just do a search for IC, that's ISEE, in your favorite podcatcher, and check out David Woodbridge's demonstrations on Narrator. Good stuff.
So I worship Mr. Woodbridge, even though he doesn't worship me. You know, he's just a man, not a deity. But for those of you who got into the Mac, I was using the PC back in 2009, and I believe it was Windows Service Pack 2 that drove me bonkers and constantly gave me errors with updates. And I was kind of hopeful that the PC had gotten much better with these things. So I got a brand new PC in August, and I fired it up here in the first few days of January, finally. Got all my updates done, and I'm beginning to play around with Narrator. In the first 2 days, things are going great. And then day 3 comes around, and all of a sudden, I've lost all audio. And there's no audio whatsoever. And amazingly, I thought of it. I pulled up Be My Eyes and the specialized help, and I called the Microsoft help desk and had a fantastic experience. Tell you what, it is a little hard to hold the iPhone to the screen where they could see everything exactly, and then you have to type in information with one hand so you could make that remote connection. But we finally did get that going, and they tell me your audio's muted. I'm like, no, it's not, because that's the first thing I checked. And they're like, well, there's an X on the tray. They kept telling me it was muted. I'm like, no, it's not. So she then went and looked at my updates, and sure enough, there was an audio driver update, and it's baffling to me that an audio driver update could knock out all audio. So I don't know, Allison, have you ever had anything like this happen? I know you've used the PC much more than me. Just my dumb luck, I guess.
No, I have honestly never had that happen. You know, and at this point, I don't have a Braille display, so I'd be really having to get some sighted help too.
Yeah. So we did get everything updated. And once she was able to get the computer to restart, everything, the audio came right back on. I have NVDA installed, but I don't use it. We even tried launching NVDA thinking it was a Narrator issue, but no, all audio was gone, and that was surprising. But I am excited, though, because I began learning the Mac from David Woodbridge's great Mac specials he did about 10 years ago. So it's almost like I'm relearning everything from Woodbridge again. And I've read through the manual several times, and I can see where Narrator's going to be decent. It's just, for me, it's really learning the design and layout of the PC. And one of these days I'll start reading the 4 Windows 10 books for dummies that I've gotten. And I'm probably the dummy they're talking about. So I like when books are written specifically for me. But I've been impressed with Narrator so far.
Yeah, I made a comment to you, why don't you just try JAWS out, and you might never go back to it. But, you know, I'm glad you have the tenacity to go through this and learn it. You said you want to learn it because you want to be able to teach it to someone.
Well, that's what cool thing, what I plan on doing, and I'm not a millennial, so I actually see things through, and there go all of our millennial listeners. I plan on learning Narrator forward and backwards, then NVDA forward and backwards, and then maybe JAWS and everything. So I'm still going over Narrator. I've got Narrator down pretty good. It's just really now I've got to spend time learning the design and just the layout of what the PC's like in Windows 10. One of the coolest things, though, on my computer, I love having A-Lady on the PC because I tested it out, and it was so cool just to say, A-Lady, play channel 87 on Sirius XM. I didn't know if it was going to work, and sure enough, it worked and everything.
PG, Brian. PG.
Of course, then I had the A-Lady that was sitting right behind it and the computer deciding which one wanted to listen to me and everything.
Oh,
so
gosh. Yeah.
I have what's known as A-Lady bloat in my apartment. Yeah, there's just too much of There's too much A-Lady bloat going
She's
on.
everywhere.
But it is really cool. It works great on the PC, and it was great, you know, when I travel, if I want to, travel with my PC, I then have Sirius XM instead of having to take my wireless Bluetooth speaker that has Sirius XM and the A-Lady built into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a big fan of this A-Lady, and she does not seem to be going away.
I have a problem with this A-Lady stuff, all these devices calling out names. It's getting to the point where I'm just tired of people saying no, and then they have to say stop, and then they go no, and pretty soon it's like, I want the person to be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we've scared you yet on this show, you're going to want to stop listening now. This part of the show gets a little scary with some news of just some privacy things that are going on and quite shocking stuff, actually. The first one is kind of in your backyard there, Allison. Did you read about this city of Los Angeles suing the Weather Channel? Basically, the Weather Channel, supposedly, allegedly, has been using the tracking information to give you its weather to sell to advertisers and marketers. Is this not unbelievable?
Oh, that is gross. Oh, that is so gross.
Yeah, and this could be devastating. As Jeff pointed out to me earlier, the Weather Channel is owned by IBM, and interestingly enough, the Weather Channel is the service that every iPhone uses. So if they lose this lawsuit, it's going to open up a Pandora's box. It was just baffling to me. When you get those pop-ups for a weather app, and nobody reads them, it's just, okay, except you got to know my location. But to be doing this is, Jeff, what are your thoughts about them using this information in ways they're not supposed to be doing?
Well, I think we should pause for 7 hours right now while everyone reads that
Things.
Terms and conditions that you agree to every time you open these apps. Do you agree to this? Oh, yeah, click. I mean,
Jeff, are you a speed reader? It only takes you 7 hours to read that?
I know.
It's impressive.
It's amazing because you think of the Weather Channel, and the company that does the Weather Channel is owned by IBM, and you start seeing this connection of how many companies out there. I think there's probably only about 5 of them probably own everything that's on the internet. It seems everything we do, everything we say, somehow, whether it's Facebook or another company, everybody knows. Big Brother is here.
Yep.
And that's one of my favorite songs, but I won't sing it. Everybody knows. But Jeff, and if you weren't scared enough by your weather app tracking you, if you own a Vizio TV, it may be tracking you and basically taking what you're watching and then selling it to marketers and advertisers. Is this more unbelievable or less unbelievable than your weather app tracking you to advertisers?
It's the modern day Nielsen's, isn't it?
It is.
Without you knowing it.
Yeah. What about you, Allison? Any thoughts about your television tracking what you're watching to, I guess, sell advertising and marketing to you?
I don't know. I just assumed it was already doing that. I mean, I've got the Amazon Element TV, so I'm pretty safe. I mean, I don't like it, but it's where we are, and until we really figure out what to do about it, it's going to be like this, and until we figure out a way to make it fair to everybody, most notably the consumer.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as privacy anymore, and unless you're going to live completely off the grid. Jeff?
To me, it's like, I could imagine some dogs getting together and saying to each other, yeah, they put a chip in me. We do it to dogs, and we're getting it done in a way through every device, every electronic piece that we have that connects to the internet. You connect to the internet, they've got you tagged. It's kind of scary. It's getting more and more real to think that even the Weather Channel?
Yeah.
Come on.
The Weather Channel. Is nothing sacred anymore?
I know, right?
And for those of you out there that are not great spellers, if you typed in parcel instead of parcels with an S, Allison, there's an app that could be taking your cell phone and turning it into a bot farm where it's connecting and helping track other people's packages through your location. I mean, this was some next level tracking and everything. This story.
Wait, the parcel app? Oh, no, I use the parcel app.
There's 2 of them. There's parcel and then there's parcels. So I believe it's the one without the S. It was developed by a Russian developer. Now, I don't think he was intending to do anything maliciously. Instead of using servers to track all these packages, basically phones were connecting to phones, creating a giant BART phone tracking.
No, I might use that app.
Congratulations.
Oh, I almost swore on that blind tech show. Oh, man.
We're going to have to shut you off of this podcast because you're being tracked.
They know where you are, Allison.
Crap. They know where I am. They're going to come find me.
We're only halfway through this segment, people, so if you're the least bit scared, you might want to fast forward a little, because it was just one thing after another that's coming out. I mean, like I said, they've opened a giant Pandora's box. And do you remember, Allison, when you used to get that thing to pop up on your iPhone that would say your cellular service needs to update your carrier ID?
Man. Yeah, I haven't gotten that in a while.
Yeah, well, that's a whole company that basically can track your exact location. And the cell phone companies, I don't think any of us need to worry about this. The cell phone carriers have been selling exact locations to bounty hunters for $4.95 a person.
Wow.
So if none of you hear from Allison in over 10 minutes, they got her.
They got me. It was nice knowing y'all.
They got it.
Yeah.
The only cool thing about this story is it would be kind of cool that if they would sell my location to Boba Fett, because he was a bounty hunter, and that'd be kind of cool if Boba Fett kind of tracked me down and everything. But yeah, I don't know how somebody's a criminal in this day and age. I mean, it really is difficult. We're eliminating jobs. So the cell phone companies are just so sneaky and everything. They supposedly claim they had stopped doing this, yet then they came out and said, well, we're probably going to stop doing it by March. So
yeah. But we're still doing it now.
We're still doing it now. So basically, when you take out a cell phone contract and it says they'll only give out your location to emergency services, that's all BS.
Mm-hmm. That is total BS.
BNS. Pure cane sugar.
But on a more positive note, at least I threw this article into this segment. Tile. Jeff, do you ever use Tile or Tracker?
Yes, I got 3 of them. 4.
How would you like to have a Tile chip implanted in your AirPods?
In my AirPods.
AirPods?
Yeah, he said AirPods.
Well,
that way you'll always know where they are.
Well, if it's just in the AirPods and not like in my brain,
Tile is now working with chip manufacturers to embed their tracking technology in the physical chips. I thought that was really cool and everything. Except after reading about all this other tracking information, it's going to end up in the wrong hands somehow. So they don't need to track your phone anymore. They just need to track your AirPods.
Yeah, it's my concern.
It's just not all about your luggage anymore, is it?
Yep.
The thing about Tile is you have to have the app turned on in your phone.
I'm sure they'll figure out a way to get rid of that.
Okay, so you do turn it on in your phone. You're at the airport. Now you have to hook up the airport internet. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like,
oh God, that's the worst thing ever.
It is.
Are you going to listen as the bags are going around, people are grabbing? Are you going to hear this? I don't know.
I guess people will stop losing things. So that means you'll never have to buy anything again. So that'd be kind of cool. That's the only thing I thought it would be kind of good. Except I don't lose anything now because even after a late night of adult beverages, I'm always up. There's the Apple Watch. There's the AirPods. Everything made it home, So
good old muscle memory. It saves you every time.
So to sum up in scaring the bejesus out of everybody, Allison, are we just totally screwed with the direction we're headed?
I'm an optimist. So I want to say, something might happen to change the course, but for now, it's maybe looking that way. But I say, hold steady, stay strong, and see what happens because life always gets better.
I want that on a T-shirt.
You want to throw in a fight the good fight there? That's
fight the good fight. That's
the direction
right.
I felt you were going. What about you, Jeff?
I would really be concerned if 63 million people had their privacy violated and they said, excluding Jeff Thompson, why wasn't I violated? What am I not doing to be worthy of being violated? What am I doing wrong? Am I not worthy?
Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it unless you're going to live completely off the grid. And then you end up with a beard living in the woods writing a manifesto, and that never ends well. So read your history books. But yeah, it's unavoidable. If you want to be part of society and interactive, and I think most people are using technology for good, but you're always going to have at least one Dr. Evil out there. Of course, a mini Dr. Evil. Moving on. Allison, a lot came out at CES. It seems like every company, even companies I've never heard of, are all coming up with their own different smart plugs and smart hubs. And it made me think of something. Before investing in any of this smart technology, do we really need to really just think about, diving into one product line and environment? Because not all these devices seem to work with everything. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think that's really important. I know I've become an A-lady person. I have her all throughout the house, and she is my smart assistant of choice. But there's so many variants of these different smart plugs and what they have built in and what smart assistants they work with. It's really bewildering. And yes, you're going to have an easier time if you do stick with one brand and not have to have, multiple. Because with the A-lady, sometimes it can be a little clunky how you tell it to do something. And so it's better to just stick with one variety of plug all throughout your house.
Jeff, Jeff, are you an A lady, G lady, S lady, or a Bixby guy? And we can say Bixby because nobody listening to this show actually owns anything that Bixby works on.
Yes to everything except for Bixby.
Oh, would that make you a technologist that you don't use Bixby, that you're against? There's got to be a word.
I'm not a portalologist either.
Good, touche. So yeah, you're living in all the environments. Have you had any issues where a certain device might not work in one environment?
Well, of course I have. And let me put it this way. Who would have imagined that Amazon could come out with a dot for, $29 during a Black Friday? And so I bought 3 of them and I spread them around the house. Then I started looking at stuff that worked with the A-Lady. And I bought a couple of plugs for the lamps and then switches. And then I found out that HomeKit would work on them, but it didn't work with the older ones. Oh, that was interesting. And then like my Nest works with Google and it works with Alexa, but it doesn't work on the HomeKit until they start opening up these devices so they're not so proprietary to one ecosystem. I just wish they would all work with all of them. I'm sure they're going to come up with a universal hub that will just tie them all together. It'll just simplify a lot of things. But if you're tired of trying to cross-pollinate all your devices, I would say focus on one right now. Like Allison, you switched over to the A-Lady for all your devices, all the Amazon products. There you go. That's one way of doing it. So before you start investing, just look at what type of system you want to go with and stick with it. But then everything always looks better on the other side of the fence, doesn't it?
Yeah, they're everywhere. But which is great because we're now turning into our CES portion of the show. And I'm not surprised that, the big headline was that Apple's HomeKit came away the big winner. And one thing I've noticed with my GE air condition that has everything built into it, where I could use the A-Lady, G-Lady, or S-Lady, when I use the A-Lady with it, I've got to use more words and specific words. But the great thing is I could just press the home button. Yes, I have an old school iPhone where I could still press the home button and I just say, turn the air conditioner on. And it's that simple. So this is something that excites me about HomeKit coming to more and more devices, Jeff. Do you use HomeKit at all?
Well, it's so easy to vocalize something to a Dot or to the Mini or the Google Home, the G-Man platform.
The G-Man. Ah, nice. We're not sexist here.
And boom, you're done. You can do it while you're walking around the house. You don't have to pull out a phone, open up some assistant or something like that. I don't have the HomePod, so I can't just do that. So that's what I migrated to. And the things that work on it, great. Then most of the stuff that I have works on those. That's great. Am I locked into it? No. And if I want to go into the HomeKit and involve my S-Lady platform, well, I'd have to go get the latest and greatest that works with the HomeKit.
Well, that's great. You can buy everything again. How about you, Allison? Do you use anything that works with HomeKit?
I have the August Smart Lock, which is very nice with HomeKit. And right now, supposedly my thermostat works with HomeKit.
How does that work?
The August Smart Lock?
Yeah, how does that work? Is it a code that you enter, or how does it unlock?
No, it's got it uses the authentication on your phone. It senses when your phone is unlocked, and then you tell Siri to unlock the door.
Oh, cool.
The door, and she does it. Also, it works with A-Lady, but you do have to say a code for unlocking the door. All the little ecosystems, like you said, are different. For HomeKit on my thermostat, I actually have to take a picture of a code on the thermostat. It's very secure, but I haven't been able to do that, and Ira can't really do it, so I don't know, maybe the next house. I don't know if I'll be taking this thermostat with me or if I'll be using a different one. So
you're allowed to have a sighted person come into your house every now and then.
Every now and then I do, just for some variety,
So, Allison, I have to ask you a very personal question.
Okay, I'm ready.
What feels more natural to you? A-Lady flush the toilet or S-Lady flush the toilet? Because they're both coming out with smart toilets for the low price of $8,000, though.
Wow. Talking about a 1%er toilet. My goodness.
Well, what's the answer? A-Lady or S-Lady? Flush the toilet.
I think that S-Lady would be funnier. Obviously. Think about that for a while, folks. And yeah, I just hope they do it. Sorry, I didn't get that. I hope there's some sort of manual override for when they inevitably screw up.
And Jeff, both of these products pretty much seem the same. They're going to warm your tuchus. They're going to have speakers so they can play music.
Ooh, that's fancy.
But now my question is when, of course, your smart toilet goes haywire, who would you call to fix it, Jeff?
The Geek Squad or a plumber?
Yeah, so food for thought. That's, I guess, all we have about smart toilets for this episode.
Yeah.
Now, this one was
I
really
kind of like
cool,
that pause.
Jeff.
That was a nice long pause there.
Oh, I had to flick through everything to get caught up. I figured you'd cut it out and everything. So I was pausing for effect.
The man of pause.
Jeff, I am not a Samsung guy. I've already smashed Bixby, but the fact that Samsung is actually coming out with a wearable exoskeleton, is that not the coolest and closest thing to Iron Man you've ever heard of?
I think it's really interesting. It's really neat because I've done some reading on the ability. There's some wheelchairs that people can actually stand up and actually be like at a cocktail party or be at an event where they're eye level with people. And so this device now, I don't think they're going to try and make football teams out of these devices, but I think it's really interesting. I did get a good description of it, and it's not as bulky as I would think. That it's not like Mr. Michelin tire, all these things around them, but it's just kind of neat that they're doing this. And why not? Why not? Our knees weren't perfect devices in the first place.
Now, Allison, even though this wearable exoskeleton won't help you fly like Iron Man, do you think it could have some cool practicalities?
Well, I think, picking up after the dog would be easier, wouldn't have to bend as much. If you're not actually using your real muscles, maybe you could run longer distances. I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
I'm sure it's years away, but it's pretty cool the fact that they were just releasing, just the phrase wearable exoskeleton was really, really fascinating.
So here's another one. Yeah, it is. But here's another one. If they put a GPS in the wearable exoskeleton and it took you, your wearable exoskeleton could basically take you where you needed to go. Kind of like the concept of the guide robot, only it's you. You are in charge of your destiny via the exoskeleton. That is scary and amazing at the same time. I kind of want to try it. That's epic.
Yes.
Like it would step up on a curb, step down. It would step up steps.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And you could be reading a book.
What's the Sony band, is it called, where it detects things that are in front of blind people?
The Sunu band.
Or whatever.
Sunu, whatever.
I don't know that thing.
We know I'm going to butcher at least 3 names on it.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of real-world practicalities. Getting back to more realistic practicalities, Apple just took out their first patent for wearable tech, smart furniture. And to touch on this further, my parents, they got rid of their old school couch. When I was down in Florida, they had 2, recliners. And it was the coolest thing. They had USB charging in them. So I was able to just sit there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those. They've got USB. There's ones that have like a desk in the middle of them with outlets and stuff.
Yeah.
It's getting real fancy.
It's really cool. And so...
But do they flush?
I did not try and say, a lady, flush the recliner, so I can't answer that. Next time I'm in Florida, my parents are getting older, so that would be useful. Forget about senior citizen diapers. There you go, Jeff. We're losing.
Well, one thing that I noticed, we got a new Sealy, and it's one of those memory pads on the whole thing. And when it got installed, I wasn't here. And when I was investigating it, like, okay, here's this. And there's 2 USB ports on each side of the bed frame.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, which is nice because that's where you want one. It's better than at a hotel where it's 12 feet away.
I hate that. Yeah.
Whoever designs hotel rooms is an idiot.
They were just evil. Yeah.
I would love a jacket that I could just put my phone in the pocket and it just charges. That'd be kind of cool.
Oh my goodness. You would explode though. It would be like wearing a suicide vest because you'd basically be covered with batteries.
Back away from that guy with the drink in his hand.
Well, they already have jackets that warm you up and everything, so this is just one step further.
Yeah, they worry me a little bit.
They do too. Yeah. What if you're stop, it's 150 degrees. Stop.
No, I'm hot. Stop. I'm hot enough, thank you.
We've all seen how voiceover will just turn itself on and off. What about your warming clothing and everything?
Oh, goodness.
But there were some just bizarre things.
Things.
At CES, notifications that tell you when your baby's diaper needs to be changed. Allison, is technology just making us really freaking lazy?
Well, maybe, except, I could see for a newer parent who wasn't used to all the signs of when a baby needs changed. My understanding is that you get used to those and you get to know those pretty quick, and some of them are fairly obvious. I mean, what is it, like a thing that clips onto the diaper? How does that work?
I have no clue. I couldn't read it. I was laughing too hard.
Sometimes babies will exceed the bounds of their diapers. That's all I'm saying. I think the diaper there goes your tracker.
Blue.
Well, that wouldn't help blind people.
Oh, that's not
Yeah,
accessible. Yeah.
No, it's a bright blue.
Well, what would come first, the notification or the smell, Jeff?
I don't
I
know.
guess it depends
I
on how far away from the baby you are. Sorry, I keep
That's
answering
quite
for
okay.
Jeff. I keep answering for you this whole podcast. I am sorry. I keep doing
no,
that.
it's all
I
right.
need to stop doing that.
I'm married. I know the feeling.
You're already used to a woman answering for you. All right.
I got two
Well, then-
older sisters. The diaper thing is one thing. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be other, like Brian, you were talking about a lady in headphones. I mean, do we really need them there?
That I want.
That I want. But
I do.
interestingly enough, that
I
you
want
moved
it.
on to that. I want it, but I was in the cab the other day, and I don't even use dictation when I'm in a cab. I actually use flick type or whatever. And so am I really going to say to my headphones, and I think you're going to spend more time. No, I'm not talking to you. No, and especially when the cab driver's barely. No. You see, we have a lady. That's the only thing when you're out and about. I think you're going to spend more time telling people you're not talking to them.
Okay, so you're in an elevator, okay, and you say it, and 7 people's devices go off. I mean,
How often are you in an elevator and you start playing music or something, Jeff?
But it's probably going to be a button push thing where you actually have
Ooh,
to push
hey
the
lady, what floor am I on?
Hey, that'd be cool.
The thing is, you're going to have your phone with you because that was the big thing that I'm looking forward to. All these companies seem to be coming out with headphones that are now going to have a dedicated. It's funny, the AirPods got rid of every button, and now more headphones are coming out with a dedicated button for your chosen assistant that you want to use and everything. But I plan on getting a pair of these and everything. I've held off getting any headphones for a while because I knew this was coming. So I think it'll be pretty cool. Allison, you sound excited about it.
I want the A-Lady headphones now. Even though I'm entering a new chapter of fiscal responsibility in my life, I still want a pair of the A-Lady headphones.
It seems like every company is coming out with a pair and everything. It's an exciting time.
They're growing a pair.
yes, Brian, you shut him up.
Yeah. So I skipped over something. So I was just like, no, there's no reason to go back to that.
It wasn't the pair.
It wasn't the pair. So, Allison, it's January 2019.
It is.
Where do you think we are with the state of described video?
Oh my gosh. I mean, when I think of where we were even 5 years ago, I think it's getting a lot better. There's still a lot that I want to watch with description that I can't, but I have more choices than I ever did, and it just keeps getting better. So overall, I'm very pleased.
Yeah, I think you're talking about HBO and Showtime. I don't understand why they get a complete free pass with no described video.
They do get in Stars too.
Yeah, because I love Ray Donovan, but it has no described video. And It seems like they became a big fan of the montage this season, the Blind Man's Kryptonite. Luckily, there are people that write really detailed descriptions and episode recaps and everything. And there was something on the season finale, which I won't give away, that I had no clue that happened until I read the recap. I'm like, oh, really? So that's what happened.
Oh, no.
How about you, Jeff? What about your thoughts of where described video is at this point in time?
I think, like Allison said, it's come a long ways from what we got to compare it to when, let's go back to the 90s. I mean, we really didn't have a lot to choose from. And I'm excited. Did the interview with Roy Samuelson, who does the audio description, audio narratives, and he's out there tweeting and promoting audio description. And he's a sighted guy, works in Hollywood doing this stuff. And he's out there, banging the Twitter, sending out message. I don't know, he's banging it, but he's out there advocating for audio description. I really like that.
That's really cool.
I hope more people
That's great.
see the light of having audio descriptions, because I know a lot of people won't watch something if it doesn't have it, and they're missing so much. And without audio description, you are missing a lot of a show.
Yeah. I mean, Netflix does a phenomenal job. Fox is by far the best network. That's who Roy does his audio description. I know he does Lethal Weapon, which I've enjoyed and everything. And some networks, Fox seems to almost every show seems to have audio description, and then you have the other networks that are like, well, how much does Congress say we need to do? Okay, we're just barely going to hit the minimum.
The 0.26 hours a month. Yeah.
CBS. Yeah, I'll watch a show. Actually, this new show, God Friended Me, I'm loving, but there's no audio description. Fortunately, it's fairly easy to follow. Whenever you watch a show that doesn't have audio description, and just if you know the episode number and the season number, just do a quick Google search at God Friended Me, Season 1, Episode 6 recap, and you're going to find pretty thorough, detailed recaps and everything, and you'll be like, oh, okay, in case you miss anything. Yeah, so I do that with a lot of shows and stuff, and
there you go.
It'd be nice to see some of these networks become more proactive. It's going to be interesting to see if Hulu ever does get that described video now that we're in 2019, and I know Amazon is releasing a lot of their content with described videos. So compared to where we were a year ago, I think it's better, but there's still a long way to go. And it's interesting because me saying there's a long way to go can lead us back into what's pissing off Brian.
It's the alpha and the omega.
You thought it was just at the beginning of the show. So
Why can't Bounty Hunter find me now?
yeah.
Rose. Rose. Yes, Jack. I think I'm dying. No, Jack, no. I'll never let go. I'll never let go. Rose, you must promise me something. You must promise me. Yes, Jack, anything. Rose, you must find out what's pissing Brian off. Wait, what?
So anyhow, I think these are all things you could agree with, because the first one, or I guess the second one, that's really been pissing me off. For example, my uncle sent me a great article in the New York Times, and I pull it up on the Mac, I start reading it, and I'm all into this really serious article about blindness.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden I hear only $19.99 for a bikini wax. I'm like, wait, what? That's not in the middle of the article. And it drives me bonkers that it's now reading you ads in the middle of the article. And then, of course, because it's on the Mac, you need to get voiceover out of the ad frame, which it gets stuck in, to get back to reading the article.
It's like the Roomba when it gets stuck, between the couch and the wall or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. That is a great analogy. And that just drives me insane. How about you, Jeff? You use a Mac. This has to happen to you when you're reading a serious article and then all of a sudden you're getting... Because a sighted person could just glance over the ad, no big deal, and they continue reading the article. But with screen readers, to have advertisements interrupting the content that we're trying to read, it just drives me insane.
I'm just pissed off because I paid $29.99.
For what?
I mean...
For the bikini wax, of course.
Oh,
Brian, aren't you listening to the podcast?
He doesn't listen.
I am getting over a cold.
Yeah.
I don't
just
listen.
Engage mouth,
He
shut
misses
off
full
ears.
whole life-changing events in my life, and then he misses your bikini wax. I mean, come on now.
You'd think he'd notice.
Yeah.
Well, you have to remember, Jeff, in Minnesota, winters are much more brutal than here in New York, so people get hairier. That's why it's double the cost.
It preserves us.
Okay.
Yeah, it preserves us. If any of you ever use the Apple News, if you're swiping down to article and then you come to where they have the advertisement and it won't read it, but you engage in it, like article JPG, it starts saying stuff, you have to go buy it. I get upset with that too,
Me
because
too.
in that situation, I don't get a choice to see that. I could go to Disney for $1.99 or whatever they say. I have no idea what they say.
$1.99. Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah. Well, it's just a mouse and a duck. Yeah. I mean, you can go see a mouse or a duck anywhere, right?
That's true.
Exactly. And a dog. I've got one right here.
So the thing that even gets my, I don't know,
Goat?
panties in a bunch more than nowadays, because journalists are terrible, instead of getting real quotes, they quote tweets.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, that makes me so angry. Oh, do real journalism. Talk to people.
When you're reading and it's one tweet, but what drives me, Twitter adds info and privacy policy, and it's reading it over and over and over.
And over and over again. Oh, see, at least it really is the alpha and the omega, because all the things that have pissed you off, Ryan, this time have pissed me off too.
See, it's not just me.
Well, and Jeff's too nice to admit he's pissed off, but we know he is.
Since we're going down this path, here's one thing that I'm pissed off about. I'm going to join the group. Hi guys. Elbow up to you guys. Okay, you're in WhatsApp, okay?
Uh-huh.
And you're swiping through. Like, I like that WhatsApp is accessible and stuff, but when you're listening to someone, all of a sudden you accidentally touch the next one, it reads everything in that message.
Yeah, or when it skips over a message in the autoplay and then you have to go back. Oh, that makes me murderous with rage.
Yeah, you're listening to 10 things in a row. It's really good. Then someone sends a text. And then so you open up the...
You're like grooving, like, brushing your teeth or something, and
but
think
the cursor doesn't follow.
Nope, it does not.
Or if someone sends them another WhatsApp somewhere else, the banner comes in on top. Now it's up on the top.
You can turn all that off. But the cursor not following and the stopping the autoplay for texts, just skip them over or use TTS. Hello, there's TTS built into the iPhone. Just read it.
I'm so proud of you guys. What episode is this, Jeff?
We've embraced our inner pissed off
We've
people.
now turned the segment from what's pissing off Brian into what's pissing off the entire That Blind Tech Show team.
Everybody.
Welcome to my nirvana.
Thanks for coming, Brian.
It's very therapeutic. I should talk about what's pissing me off more often.
Why do you think I do it? Why do you think I do this podcast? I do it just for the end, what's pissing off Brian. It's the only reason. Very therapeutic.
I'm coming back next month.
Doctor, yes? It's happening. What's happening? It's spreading, doctor. What are you talking about? All of them are getting pissed off now. What do you mean all of them are getting pissed off? First Brian, then Allison. No, Jeff. They're all pissed off. They're all pissed off. That's what I said. Everyone's pissed off. That's what I said. Everyone's pissed off. Now you're pissing me off.
Glad to see that you guys have embraced your dark side and your inner demons and everything, and you're not afraid to shout it and shout it out loud. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to start wearing Depends during this show.
I'm going to let that one fly.
Well, babies, diapers, and we've gone from the toilet to diapers that alert you to pissing off. And
We did a reverse circle of life. We started with the elderly spreading the fake news, and we ended with people in diapers. Babies.
we start in diapers and we end in diapers. That's human life.
There's a method to the madness of the outline, Jeff.
From diapers to Depends. I got the title.
Diapers. Wouldn't it be from depends to diapers?
No,
Doesn't flow
No,
as
because
well.
we started with diapers.
that's Jonathan Winters on Mork and Mindy. He went from that way.
Yeah, he went that way. Touche. Excellent pop culture reference.
I don't even know what you're talking about. I've never seen it.
You've never seen Mork and Mindy and you live in...
No.
I don't even think they have it on Netflix, which is a shame. I never understand why shows like Night Court and they're not even on TV anywhere, so why aren't they on Netflix? Everything should be on Netflix.
Yeah.
Especially with Netflix hiking us $1.80 or whatever they are. You heard about that,
I know
right?
it's a jerks. I mean, I love it, and I'm going to pay it like a chump, but, still.
Oh, kind of like Amazon Prime.
Yeah, everything's good.
You're complaining about $1.80.
I just get every time it goes up, I'm like, I'm thinking about canceling. Then I'm like, $3.99 one-day shipping. Heck no, I'm not canceling. Yeah.
Yeah. And first, the iPhones are more expensive, the Prime, everything.
Things just aren't the same these days. Get off my lawn.
On Thursday, you order something from Amazon Thursday afternoon. It'll be here in 2 days.
Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What universe is that 2 days, Jeff Bezos? By the way, I am so pimping myself out to Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, who's now going to be like the richest woman in the world.
Well, she's going to need some comfort,
If you're listening, Miss X Bezos. Mackenzie.
Her name is Mackenzie.
I'm single, I'm available, and I'm low maintenance most of the time. So, Allison, as we wrap up yet another That Blind Tech Show, our first of 2019, what do you got coming up in the coming weeks?
Oh, just, life stuff, and then not sure about any of the CSUNs or anything for work. That's the only way I'll be able to go this year. Just kind of getting through a rainy winter in Napa and just living life to the best of my ability.
Well, that's good. And you should tell them, hey, it's Anaheim. That's the dream location. Yeah, compared to San Diego. I wish it was in San Diego, but...
I love San Diego. I'm going to miss it.
I love San Diego,
go.
but I'll be going. I already booked my hotel, so now I just have to pay for the conference, the airfare, and all that other fun stuff, but I won't...
Yeah, well, the hotel set you back, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm 99% certain I will be at CSUN, and then I'll be spending a few days in LA, hopefully doing a few shows and everything.
There you go.
Yeah, so pay for a little of it by doing that kind of stuff and everything. How about yourself there, Jeff? What do you got coming up? Just obviously staying warm in Minnesota?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's unseasonably. It's not that bad, really, but it's still cold. Sometimes you get that damp cold, and I'm glad you guys are getting some rain out there, but I guess you guys are getting really downpoured out there in California. Allison, I mean, you go from fires to...
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's just, I mean, I was telling someone the other night, I would take snow over this relentless rain any day. I hate it. I hate winters in Northern California. Give me a good, cold, honest, snowy East Coast winter any day.
Careful what you say. We got a big storm coming here tomorrow, so trust me.
I've lived through a couple of them, Brian. I've lived in Pittsburgh for 26 years. Believe me, I saw me some snow, and I'll take it over the rain.
Mr. Thompson?
So there's a lot of conferences coming up, and I've been looking at some of them and just trying to pick and choose which one I can attend and want to attend.
Are you guys going to NFB? I'm not going to NFB for NFB, no offense, NFB, but I'm going just to see friends. So if you're going to be there...
In Vegas?
Vegas, baby.
What?
In Vegas?
In Vegas, because I'm like a minute from Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Aren't you closer to Anaheim than Vegas?
Probably, but
It's Vegas. I got you.
you know,
Yeah.
it's Vegas. Hello. Yeah.
I got to admit,
I love Vegas.
affordability to fly into Vegas, it's cheap. To get a hotel in Vegas, it's cheap.
ACB, I think, is in Rochester, isn't
Rochester, New York. Yep.
it? Yeah, so, I mean, I may end up going to ACB just because it's in, upstate.
Well, yeah, it's like in your backyard. Hello.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
when you live in the city, you don't view the rest of New York as your backyard. You view it as, cow country.
Cow country.
That's so snobby.
So we've offended the senior citizens, the babies, the non-New York City New Yorkers.
The NFB. Yeah.
All you iGens out there, you're safe.
The Android, the millennials. So yeah, we've got
Let's see who else.
Black guy dogs.
guy
No,
dogs.
we defended black guide dogs.
Yeah, we did.
We defended black guide dogs. Sorry, Nash. Although, and on a personal note, because I'm sure people are still listening, I actually put in my paperwork and was approved for the next guide dog, which will be happening sometime in 2019.
Oh, congratulations. I know that's a bittersweet thing, but
I'm still
glad for
blocking
you.
everything out, but Nash is
Yeah.
99% certain he's going to do what most New Yorkers do, retire to Florida, and he'll live with my parents. And
I'm just thinking about that one guide dog when they say, who wants to go with Brian? And all the other dogs back up a step. That one dog that doesn't.
is that how they pick the one that goes with me? What can I say? I'm a unique snowflake.
Oh, you're special, all right.
There we go. We know one listener out there just smiled.
Yes. So, and got their wings. So, anyway, we are That Blind Tech Show, part of the BAPE podcast empire, Blind Abilities. You could download us on any of the Blind Ability channels, and we also have our own feed, which you should subscribe to so you can get all the great That Blind Tech shows. We're at Blind Tech Show on Twitter. You can email us in thatblindtechshow@gmail.com. And for now, we are out.
And a big thank you from That Blind Tech Show, Assistive Technology Specialist Brian Fischler. Find him on Twitter at BlindGator. Voc Rehab Specialist Allison Hartley. You can find her at Hot4Technology. And myself, Jeff Thompson from Blind Abilities. You can follow me on Twitter at Known as Jeff. And a big thank you goes out to special guest Marlon Parieaho. Great job, Marlon. And as always, I want to thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see
through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between
the limited expectations
and the
reality of blind abilities.
The realities of blind abilities.
blind abilities.
For more podcasts with a blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities. Download our app from the App Store, blindabilities, that's 2 words, or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Thanks for listening.